everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. You might notice I lost a little weight off the top of my head from last time. Basically, this past week was the 1-year anniversary of my last haircut. I had gotten a haircut like days before the lockdown, which in retrospect maybe wasn't a great idea, but it turned out okay, thankfully. But we didn't know at the time that it was not a good idea. But I got a haircut, then there was lockdown, and I was like, then I was terrified, and I said, I will get my hair cut when I feel comfortable going into a barbershop again. That still hasn't happened. So basically my hair just kept growing and growing and growing and growing, and I got to 1 year. My husband hated it. He doesn't like long hair, and I was okay with it. There were a few awkward stages, but it was mostly okay. But then I got annoyed with it too, because it just gets everywhere. It's like on the couch, it's in the drain, it's on the floor, it's in the bed. It's just my hair was falling out everywhere. It was terrible. So I told him, okay, happy 1-year anniversary of my last haircut, give me another one. He's been dying to cut my hair, so I let him cut my hair. He did a pretty good job, I think. So maybe I'll just let him cut it and save my money and never go back to a barber again. Last week you might recall that I complained about how I couldn't visit my friends' islands in Animal Crossing New Horizons. And so after complaining about this, I discovered that I'm just an idiot. I can freely admit that. I'm just an idiot. It has been so long since I visited any friends' islands that I sort of forgot how it worked. And the problem is that I was getting notifications that the people on my best friends list, they're like, I'm online. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I would go to the airport and try to visit their island. And it'd be like, sorry, there's no islands to visit right now. And I'm like, but, huh? And it turns out that when one of your best friends, when you get the notification that says they're online and you check your app in the Nook phone and it says that they're active, that doesn't mean that their gate is open, it just means they're playing the game. I forgot that, so I didn't realize that, and that's why I kept trying to visit and got annoyed when I couldn't visit, because I thought their gates were open when in fact they were not. They were just playing the game. And honestly, that whole thing is kind of stupid. I don't really see the point. I mean, like, if I know my best friend, one of my best friends is online, I can, like, message them and say, hey, do you want to come visit? Or, hey, can you open your gates? I need to sell some stuff, whatever. But, like, I don't want to know that they're online. I don't want to know that they're playing the game. I can tell that from my friends list, you know? I can tell what everybody is playing when they're on right now, you know? Like, so I don't need that. I need a notification that, hey, somebody has opened their gates and that I can go visit their island. That would be a very helpful notification. But whatever. I don't think they're going to update the game to allow that to be something, even though that would be super duper helpful. Especially now when the game has been out for almost a year and a lot less people are playing than there were back then. Like, 'cause a year ago, people were all playing it and you could literally just, like, open your gates and people would just start showing up. And you'd go to the Orville and you'd be like, hey, I want to go. And you'd be like, here are 3 or 4 islands that you can visit. And, like, everybody was just island hopping, and it was a whole big thing. And now, not as many people are playing it, and if they are playing it, they're not playing it as often. So it's a little more difficult to find islands to visit. You have to, like, arrange it and figure it out and plan ahead and whatever. Like, I'll open my gates and I'll play for like an hour and, like, nobody will come visit. So I would prefer a notification if somebody had their gate open so that I knew I could go visit them. That would be helpful, Nintendo. Hint, 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 hint. The other thing I wanted to talk about this week is I got a new cell phone. And oh my god. So, okay. Basically, I discovered last year my phone, like in the summertime I think, it like lost its connection to the wireless network, and I had to like punch in a code to my phone to get it to like reset itself and reconnect to the wireless network so I could like make calls. And I'm just like, hello. So that happened like 2 or 3 times, and then it seemed okay. But then in the fall I realized like I wasn't getting texts. I would every so often I get like a notification, I get like a pop-up from my text app that was like, hey, I can't seem to connect and get texts. And I would basically have to like turn off the Wi-Fi, get it to try again, and then turn the Wi-Fi back on again. And then I would just get like a flood of texts, and in random order, because my family loves group texts. So I get like this group text with like a bunch of my family members, and it would just all show up all at once. So I have no idea when they were originally sent. I have to try to figure out the order in which they're speaking, and because it's random. Sometimes it's in order, sometimes it's in reverse order, sometimes it's random order, who knows. It was super frustrating. I was like, why am I not getting my text on time? I tried Googling for a solution, nothing came up, and I was like, ugh, whatever. But I actually missed a family Zoom call. Not Thanksgiving or Christmas were okay, but like there was something like in the like September, October or something where they had like a family Zoom call, and like I got the texts like the day after. And they were like, I was like, sorry, I only just got these texts now. I don't know what's wrong with my phone. And they were just like, we wondered why you didn't respond. And I'm like, oh, you just assume I'm gonna like blow it off? Like, I would at least respond to say, sorry, I can't make it. Like, if I'm not responding at all, maybe like call and check to make sure I'm not dead or something. But anyway, it kept happening, and it's been getting like even more and more. I've been getting more and more frustrated with it, and I finally Googled Samsung Galaxy S8 Boost Mobile not receiving text, and that was the correct combination that got me a couple of message board threads where a whole bunch of other Boost Mobile users were also complaining about their S8s because the same text thing is happening to them, and some of them have tried contacting customer service, and it's been a whole back and forth, and they've escalated tickets, and they can't figure out what's wrong, and they're trying to reset things, and it's like nothing was working. And basically, the upshot was last summer, Boost Mobile upgraded their network, which is probably when I lost connection, and that phone is now kind of old, so it's not fully supported anymore, which is kind of shitty, because there's nothing really wrong with that phone. Like, it still runs pretty well. The camera's fine, the screen is fine, it runs well, and it still has plenty of storage, and the battery even lasts the day. Although, if I was going to the office, I'd be listening to music on the train and using it on the train and stuff, so if I was going to the office, I probably would have to like charge it up after lunch just to make sure I'd have a charge to get home with, because as it stands, just sitting in the house all day and working in the house all day, it gets less use. But even then, like, by the time I go to bed and I put it on the charging pad, like, I'm down to like 20%, 25%. So if I was actually using it out in the world, I would need to charge again in the afternoon. So I decided, you know what? I'm not going to try to fix. They can't seem to figure out the deal, and this phone is like, it's now 4 generations old. So I decided I would just get a new phone, because that's the 8, and they've already put out the 9, they put out the 10, they put out the 20, and the 21, the Galaxy S21, like, just came out, like, in January or something. So they didn't have that one, which is fine, because that would cost, like, $1,000. But they had the Samsung Galaxy 20 FE, which is, like, a cheaper version of the S20. It's just missing some of the features and whatever. But I went around the corner to my Boost Mobile store, and they were like, yeah, we can't match the online price. They could basically, they charged like I think he said they charged $7.99 for it. The best he could do would be the regular price on the website, which is $6.99. And I'm like, yeah, except for the fact that if I order it from the website, it's $4.49. So I'm going to save the $250 and just wait a few days for it to show up in the mail. And it did, and it was a feckin' disaster. So, okay, I'm trying to turn on the phone. I connected to the wireless network. It's like, hey, do you want to transfer the stuff from your old phone? I said, yes, please, because Samsung has a great app where you can just send from one phone wirelessly and receive from a new phone, and it just transfers over all of your settings and your photos and your documents and your apps and everything, just music, everything ports over, and it's super great. But in the middle of this process, something glitched, and then I had to start over. Except when I started over, it couldn't find my wireless network, and every time I tried to type in a password, it would give me this weird error message, and I'm like, holy crap, what the hell? So I ended up having to call Samsung customer service, which unfortunately you have to start at the beginning, and you go back and forth and try this, try that, I did this, I did that. And eventually she was able to walk me through it and do a factory reset of the phone, which thankfully was fine, and I said, I will transfer my data later. I would just like to get to a home screen where I can actually do things. Because she's all like, oh, can you go into the settings? I'm like, no, I can't go into the settings. I'm literally on step 2 of the setup process. I chose my language. That's it. I can't even, like I accepted the terms and conditions, but that's as far as I got. I can't even connect it to the wireless network, so nothing's going to work. So I got it working. The problem then became, before, when I was trying to figure out what was wrong and redo the setup process, I kept getting a pop-up that was like, hey, activate your phone with Boost Mobile. And I'm just like, I'd love to, except that I'm not on the wireless network, so that's not going to work. I tried it at one point, and it gave me an error message, same as before, but whatever. So then I went on the website, and I tried to activate my phone on the website. And I typed in the serial number, I checked the number of the SIM card, I clicked activate, everything seemed fine, but then I couldn't make a phone call. And I was like, what the hell? So then I had to call Boost Mobile customer service. And a lot of back and forth, a lot of back and forth, a lot of back and forth. Then he had to call me on my husband's phone because I couldn't be using my phone when he was transferring the number over and stuff. And after like 20 minutes on hold, it appears that he said something like, because my old phone was on, when I tried to transfer the number, it like didn't work. Like, your phone is supposed to be off when you do this. And I'm like, how is that supposed to work? Like, it didn't say that on the website. And he was like, oh no, it doesn't say that on the website. I'm like, you think it should say that on the website maybe because it's kind of important, since it's going to screw up your whole transfer process? And I don't know why it took like a half an hour on hold just to activate my phone. But eventually he was able to transfer the number over, and my new phone is now functional, and it works, and it's lovely. And it's funny because I had said that my old phone worked fine, but like this thing is like smooth like butter. It is like, like it just, everything loads super quick, scrolling is great. I load a web page, it's like boom, it's loaded. And that thing was a lot slower. So I just didn't notice it because that's what I was using every day. But the comparison is night and day. And then I was able to get my launcher going, because I have a custom launcher so that I can have all of my apps exactly where I want them, because you use your phone every day, so it's important to have, you know where your apps are instinctively on your screen. So like whether you have an Android or an iPhone, like you know where your apps are and you can get to them like super quick. It's like instinct, and I needed everything to be where it was on my old phone. So I basically just recreated the entire layout of pages on this phone so that it's basically my old phone, but newer and shinier and prettier. I will say that the one thing they did at some point in the last 3 generations of phones, in the 9 or the 10 or the 20, at some point they decided to move the volume controls from this side of the phone to this side of the phone. And so now I keep trying to raise the volume, and there's nothing there. And this is going to bug me for at least a few months while I get used to them being on the other side of the phone. I don't know why they would do such a thing. It's annoying to have all the buttons together anyway. Oh, and the other thing that I noticed yesterday, because I don't go out really, I didn't realize. I didn't try to plug in headphones. Good thing. There's no headphone jack anymore. Apparently, new phones, they don't use headphone jacks anymore. So you have to either get an adapter to plug into the USB-C so you can plug in headphones, or you get new headphones that just plug into a USB slot, not a regular headphone jack. So I've ordered new headphones, and Amazon says they're going to be delivered today, but they haven't shipped yet, so and it's the middle of the afternoon, so I am skeptical that they're going to get here by this evening, since they haven't shipped yet. But stranger things have happened. Amazon's pretty quick now that they have their own delivery service, and they're not using the post office anymore. But we'll see. There was one last thing. Sorry, this is going on a bit long, but I did want to mention Control, which I've been playing all week, and I've been doing a lot of side quests to try to, level up my guns and stuff and get more powers before I head into the end game. But I started doing this side quest that led me to the investigations area, where I was like, I looked at the map, and it's like this whole section of the map, and I was like, wait, what? This is a lot. How is this deal? Like, what? How is this a side quest? Like, I've never been in this section of the oldest house before. So I Googled it out of curiosity. Turns out this is DLC. It's the second DLC for Control, and it's this whole side thing with, like, Alan Wake and the darkness and whatever, and I was just like, oh. And I was like, never mind. I'll come back to this later. Because DLC is for after the game, but it's in the game. And I know that, it hasn't been, like, extra hard. Like, the difficulty level so far hasn't been outrageous. So, but I feel like it should be tackled after the main game when you're, like, super powered up. Because I do worry this is just the beginning, and there's a whole map to explore, and I'm like, at some point I'm going to hit something that's going to be, it's going to get a little difficult because I haven't leveled up enough, because you're supposed to play this after you've played the main game. Also, I don't think Remedy would do this because I think they're better than this, but I do worry that, like, since it's DLC, there might be stuff in there that spoils the end of the game because you played it after the main game. But I don't think they would do that because they have to know that some people are going to play it before the end of the game because they'll get it as a pack with the game. But I honestly didn't even know that the PlayStation Plus version of Control included the DLC. I don't think that's normal, but yay, I'm glad it did, because it means more game to play. So this was the second DLC, so I don't know what the first one was, and I should look that up, because I'm wondering now if, like, maybe I did that thinking it was a side quest, and it was actually the first DLC that I just did without realizing it. I don't know. I gotta look that up. So anyway, that's it. Long episode, sorry. Lots to rant about. So I will see you next episode for more Control and more whatever else there is to talk about. Bye!